near Running Springs. One witness who was following the bus says he knew all the people involved in the crash and says that the young people on board were attending that church retreat when it crashed. County fire officials said that a total of 36 people were on the bus, both adults and teenagers, when it crashed. A total of 20 patients were taken to the hospital, including 3 with severe injuries. We caught up with a priest this morning who says they prayed all night for those children involved.
The good thing is that from the beginning, they said it wasn't fatal accidents. They were just bruise or blood or finger or something. So, but the problem is you can't tell anything because I'm not sure about that. That's the
And a person following the bus says it was incredibly scary. Apparently, even a fire broke out and they had to try to extinguish it.
I just started screaming no and no and no because they were braking, and then right when he hit this turn right here, you could tell it was about to flip, so he jerked it into the wall and then trying to stop it, but it didn't obviously work out. When the vehicle flipped, all I just saw was it slide forward, and I just ran because I thought my little sister was in there, but thankfully she was behind them. Because all females from church were in the bus. It was all females in the bus.
And incredibly, everybody is expected to be okay. We're live in Santa Ana. Back to you in Hollywood.
Jennifer, thank you. The U.S. government is one step closer to reopening. The Senate approved a preliminary deal yesterday to end the shutdown. It is just the beginning of the process. The Senate has to vote again. Then the House has to approve the legislation as well. KTLA's Eric Spillman in the newsroom with the details for us. Eric, good morning.
Morning, Frank. This deal to reopen the government has some Democrats furious. They're outraged that members of their own party broke ranks and voted with Republicans without getting much in return. But the Republican House Speaker this morning had nothing but praise for Democratic senators who defied their own party leadership.
It's after 40 days of wandering in the wilderness and making the American people suffer needlessly, some Senate Democrats finally have stepped forward to end the pain.
The motion upon reconsideration is agreed to.
Last night, senators voted 60-40 on a compromise bipartisan agreement to fund the government through January. 7 moderate Democrats and 1 independent agreed to support the deal and go along with Republicans. They gave up on what they had been demanding since the beginning of the shutdown. They had wanted a guarantee that health care subsidies, which expire on January 1st, would be extended so that the health insurance premiums for Americans under the Affordable Care Act would not skyrocket. Instead, under this deal, there will be a future vote in the Senate, but no guarantees on extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies for 1 year. With Republicans in control of Congress, that sort of thing is not likely to pass. The agreement also reverses the layoffs of federal workers during the shutdown, and it ensures that federal workers who haven't been paid since October 1st will receive back pay. Now, after the vote, the Democrats who agreed to the compromise explained their decision. They said they had wanted to hold out for the health care subsidies, but because of the shutdown, flights across the country are being canceled, food assistance is being threatened, and federal workers aren't getting paychecks. It was just too much.
How do you explain, though, to your constituents why it was worth it to put up this fight for so long when in the end you did not get your key demand?
Because it wasn't working. It's been 6 weeks. There's been the Republicans made it clear they weren't going to discuss the health care issue, the Affordable Care Act tax credits, until the shutdown was over.
However, many other Democrats are angry that the moderates in their party agreed to the deal. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says he's not going to vote for it, and Governor Gavin Newsom also has indicated that he thinks Democrats should have kept on fighting. On social media, he called the compromise, quote, pathetic, and also said that America deserves better. Now, moments ago, Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke to reporters and was asked his opinion of members of his own party who sided with the Republicans on the agreement to end the shutdown without securing a promise to bring down health insurance costs.
Well, I don't have much to say about those individuals, and they're going to have to explain themselves to their constituents and to the American people.
The measure to end the shutdown still needs final approval in both the Senate and the House, and the president will have to sign it, so it may be a few days until the shutdown ends. Meanwhile, some Democrats are so angry about what happened, they're calling for Democratic leader Schumer to be replaced. Frank and Jessica.
Okay, Eric, we thank you for that from the newsroom this morning. New this hour, President Trump demanding that air traffic controllers return to work as FAA-mandated flight cuts continue to wreak havoc on air travel here in the U.S. Air traffic controllers are having to work without pay amid the government shutdown, leading to an increase in sick calls. Now, President Trump is suggesting that he'd give $10,000 in bonus to controllers who have not called out over the last 40 or so days. He says he also called on controllers who called in sick to resign with no severance. So far today, more than 5,000 flights have either been delayed or canceled, according to FlightAware.
Damage assessment underway in the Philippines today after Super Typhoon Fenghuang slammed into the island nation over the weekend. We're seeing some new video of a pedestrian bridge being tossed around by the storm's winds when it made landfall on Sunday. At least 4 people have died because of the storm. The typhoon hit the Philippines and northeastern coast, packing 115-mile-an-hour sustained winds. Gusts were topping 230 miles an hour. The country still reeling from another typhoon last week. That left 220 people dead. The storm has weakened as it heads toward Taiwan.
Look at that. Wow. Time now to check in with Henry. We're going to see really warm temperatures and then big changes by the end of the week.
Yeah, we're going to get a little bit of everything. We're going to get a little bit of summer, we'll get a little bit of fall, a little bit of winter as well. So temperatures really going to drop for us. Now, obviously, this is summer forecast for us. I mean, it feels like it's early July with temperatures in many areas climbing into the mid-90s today. Very interesting setup. If you look off in the distance, in fact, you don't even have, you can go to the control tower there, and you can see the marine layer. So along the coast, we do have low clouds and fog. What that speaks to is the offshore flow. So we get this offshore flow that develops from the Great Basin, and we get those winds that move through our mountains and our local canyons, but it doesn't quite reach the coastal areas. So the onshore push that naturally wants to come in during the morning hours, it's winning out for the coastal areas. But once you go maybe 5 miles inland, it's more of the offshore flow, and that's why you'll see a big difference in temperatures today. 88 was the high yesterday downtown. We had a similar setup. We're looking at mid to upper 80s once again today, even some lower 90s through our inland valleys. But along the coast, you're going to be very comfortable. You'll have your lower to mid 70s. Let's check out the future forecast. I want you to focus to the north, up out of the Gulf of Alaska, moving into Canada. Pretty good storm that starts to come together. And watch what happens at the tail end. We start to push in a lot of moisture out over the Pacific. So this system actually looks to be fairly impressive for California. And then it also swings into Southern California. So we actually get a piece of this storm that's going to hold up quite nicely. We should see anywhere between a half an inch, could get an inch to 2 inches of rain for some of our foothill areas. This will be what we call an orographic storm. So it's coming in from west, moving east. As it does, we're going to squeeze a lot of moisture out over the foothill and the mountain communities. So the amount of rain between the coastal areas and the valleys will be quite a bit different. Maybe coastal areas you get a quarter of an inch, and then up towards the valleys and foothills we could be looking at 3/4 of an inch to an inch. Thursday's pretty much a washout. Friday we do get scattered showers, but things start to improve through the afternoon. The weekend a little chilly with some sunshine, but definitely improvement. We do salvage a Saturday and Sunday that is dry, although a little bit cool compared to the average. But that Inland Empire forecast, 91, then 80, and then struggling to get to 60 degrees on Friday pretty much says it all. That's a 30-degree swing between temperatures today and what we'll have on Friday. So very interesting setup for us, and I'll keep you updated on the amount of rain.
All 3 Apple Watch models just got upgrades for 2025.
Rich DeMiro shows us what's changed in today's Rich on Tech. Good morning.
Good morning to you guys. Yeah, there's 3 new Apple Watch models this year. You've got the SE3, you've got the Series 11, you've got the Ultra 3. They all got upgrades. They all do something slightly different. So if you're shopping for one this holiday season, here's what you need to know. This holiday season, there are 3 new Apple Watches to choose from. The budget-friendly Apple Watch SE 3, the mainstream Series 11, and the top-tier Ultra 3. Here's what makes each one different. First, the SE 3. At $249, it's the most affordable and now has an always-on display, so you can see the screen without tapping or moving your wrist. It can play music through its speaker, charges twice as fast, and uses tougher front glass. It's a popular pick for kids. Just remember, you'll want the cellular model if you plan to text or track them without an iPhone nearby. Next, the Apple Watch Series 11. It starts at $399. It's thinner and lighter, and the screen is twice as scratch resistant. A new 5G antenna on the cellular model should give you a stronger signal in weak areas, and battery life is now up to 24 hours. New this year, hypertension notifications. It won't give you a live blood pressure reading, but it can spot elevated patterns over time and tell you to talk with your doctor. Series 9 and 10 also got this feature in a software update. There's also a new sleep score, rating your rest from 0 to 100, but it doesn't offer coaching or advice. Finally, the Ultra 3. This one costs $799 and includes a 5G antenna. Plus, there's satellite SOS, so you can message for help even without a cellular signal. It has Apple's largest watch display ever, thanks to thinner borders, and you can also see it more easily from any angle. Battery life now stretches to a whopping 42 hours, and the titanium case is now 3D printed using recycled materials. Bottom line, the SE3 is great for kids or first-time users. The Series 11 is best for most, and the Ultra 3